Natsio, thank you. Hello, shout out. Hi Natsio, how are you? Midas 22, what color panties you? Hmm, I'm good. Flowers, like this. Hi Natsil, how are you? Hmm. Teka. Hi, Divine. Good morning. Good morning, Divine. Thank you. Gagawa ako ng sunflower, Divine. Let's try if I can make it. Kape muna, Divine. Kape, kape. Ka-start ko lang naman, Divine. Sige, kape lang. Ay, hindi naman ako nagkakape, Divine. Pero nagkakape ako with lemon. Weird, di ba? With lemon. Hi! Sunflower. Look at that. Hala. Hala. Ang ganda. Divine, tignan mo. Ganda niya. So pretty. Out. Maano lang. Madikit lang. Madikit lang yung ano. Kiahak. Ayan o, ang ganda niya. Hala. Ganda niya, Divine. Akala ko di ko siya magagawa. Kasi si kuya mo kasi, sabi niya, kung makakagawa ba daw ako ng sunflower. Lakas ng loob eh, no? Sabi ko, oo naman. Mm. Hindi ko akalain na magagawa ko pala. Look at that, Divine. Di pa siya tapos ah. Tapusin ko muna bago ko sabihin maganda. Kaso nga lang ano, madami lang siyang kakaining ganito. Oh, wow. I can't believe it. It's so pretty. Yan, Divine, no? Sunflower. Mahirap gawin kaya yan. Hindi ano, Divine. Nagbuo na ako ng ano. Ito tatlo na siya eh. Tatlo na ganitong bulaklak. Madali lang siya. Mm. Ang cute niya, oh. Yan, nakabuo na ako ng isa. I-straight ko na lang kasi gusto ko yung medyo straight. Yung harapan medyo straight. Magbibilang lang ako ng 12. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ang ganda niya, Divine, no? Dami lang. Ano? Oh my God, so cute. Itago na natin ito kasi na-addict na ako. Just eat. Hi, Divine. Alam, ang ganda ng nagawa ko. Huh. Not too much. Sige, 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 Divine. Thank you. Tapusin natin to. Anong kalalabasan? Pakyat na si kuya mo. May istorbo na naman ako. Nagliligpit ako ng mga ginamit kahapon dahil birthday ka. Kasi ni kuya kahapon. Ganun ba? Sabihin mo sa kuya mo happy birthday. Look at what I did.
Oh, it's a sunflower.
Mm-hmm.
You made me a sunflower.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome, baby.
Thank you.
Ganyan yun. Lagi yan, Divine. Thank you, te. Ang sweet. Thank you, Divine.
Summer is a perfect time to see the Yukon. The midnight sun just never sets. Well, maybe for like 10 minutes, but then it's back. So you can hike these huge mountains, camp overnight. It's unbelievable.
We started No Grease because it was a passion. My mom was a stylist, so it was a natural fit for us to go into business. Today, No Grease Barbershop is a frank.
There's a saying that goes something like a poor farmer grows weeds, a mediocre farmer grows crops, and the great farmer grows soil. Good soil is at the root of every garden. And in this video, I'm going to show you a low-cost way you can make soil at home without spending any money. Hi, I'm Christina with Forever Food Forest, a channel where we explore ways of growing food without the use of pesticides, herbicides, or commercial fertilizers, and instead we rely on permaculture principles such
Hi,
as
Sissy
creating
Koy.
symbiotic relationships in the garden inspired by nature to grow food that's good for the garden and good for the
Natapos
planet.
ko na.
Let's get into it.
Dalawang
Soil building
sunflower.
methods I'm about to show you. You will have beautiful, nutritious soil that you can use in your garden in as little as 3 months. I am here in the humble beginnings of my food forest. This is year 1, and my main goal for this year is to grow good soil. And to do that, I am taking inspiration from a forest, nature. It's the best teacher. So the way to think about this is, imagine a forest. It has a bunch of trees, and when those
Yes,
trees fall,
Sissy.
it starts
Akala ko
to
di ko
decompose.
Akala ko
And
di ko siya
natural
maano
organisms
magawa.
move in, and they break down the tree, release the nutrients, and then those nutrients are taken up by the plants around the tree, and the cycle continues and so
Takpan
on
ko lang
and so
to
forth.
dito.
I didn't want to cut down any of these beautiful trees just to make soil. And plus, a whole tree is going to take years to decompose. So instead, I'm using wood chips. And you can get wood chips for free from either your local tree removal service or an arborist, or through a service called chipdrop.com, which I do not recommend. ChipDrop will deliver way more wood chips than you could ever use, like a mountain
Ganda.
of wood chips, like an Everest amount worth of wood chips. They will dump them without your knowledge, either in your driveway or in the road in front of your house. Check this out. We got a mulch delivery from ChipDrop, and these chips are free. You just put it in order and they bring it to your house. And now we have mulch for like 10 years. Your neighbors will hate you. It's steaming. I've created a giant pile of steaming compost. The city will find you, and you will spend all your waking hours shoveling those wood chips into a wheelbarrow. So do not use chipdrop.com. This is the easiest way of building your soil that requires minimum effort. All you do is just dump your wood chips out in a layer that's about 2 to 6 inches deep. Make sure that it's all even and walk away. That's it. Because as the wood chips break down, they're going to release nutrients. They're also going to help any plants or trees or shrubs that you have around them, because they will help retain moisture and moderate the temperature of the soil. And they provide a slow release fertilizer. And once they're fully broken down, there's also going to be a lot of humus that is going to get incorporated into the soil. Humus. That's humus. This is humus. It's the black stuff left over after decomposition. It provides plants with nutrients and improves soil texture and water retention. What if you need a lot of soil to fill a garden bed or some pots? How do you make that? You can make really good garden soil by just hot composting your wood chips. And the way to do that is by putting them in a big pile and adding a load of nitrogen. Nitrogen is going to help break them down in as little as 6 months. The bigger the pile, the hotter and the wetter your climate, the faster those wood chips are going to break down into humus-rich soil that you can use in your garden beds. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how I grow my own soil right here in this garden bed over the summer. So now that I have a wheelbarrow full of wood chips, we need to soak them. I prefer getting my water naturally from the sky, so we're going to hope and pray for rain. And after these are nice and soaked, I'm going to put them in a garden bed along with a source of nitrogen. Nitrogen sources that you can add to your pile, you can use pretty much anything that's green: weeds, grass clippings, seaweed, seafood, weed fertilizer, kitchen scraps, horse manure, any kind of other herbivore manure, fish emulsion, if you have fish scraps, meat scraps. Just toss it all in there, mix it up, add some water, mix it all around, and that's it. And look, it's already heating up, so we'll just leave it alone for the next 3 months. And if you're interested in seeing what I'm going to grow here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because this is going to be really exciting. Another free resource that we can use to make or improve our soil also comes from the idea of a forest, and that's leaves. Once they're broken down, they can help soil retain water, and they also provide beneficial microbes in the form of fungi to help feed plant roots and vegetable roots. So, how do you break down leaves into soil? It's super easy. You just collect your leaves or your neighbor's leaves, or if you find leaves in bags on the side of the road, you can also take those, just put them in the pile, stomp them down, and pray for rain. Wet leaves are going to break down a lot faster than dry leaves. And another thing that you can do if you don't want to put them in the pile and you kind of want to keep them out of sight is just collect them in bags. If you have some second-use bags, plastic bags, you can use those. So right here, I have my bags filled with leaves. So I'm just going to leave these here, open like this, wait for rain, hopefully tomorrow. And then once these are nice and soaked, we're going to seal them up. If you find some leaves that are already starting to mold and grow some kind of fungus on them, like this one, you can use that to inoculate your pile. Some people recommend
Hi
shredding
from
these.
Japan. Thank
I
you.
don't believe in that. They're going to break down just fine whether you shred them or not. It's just going to take a little bit longer, but we got time. So now we're just going to wait for rain.
Pierre Poilievre wants you to think Canada sucks. But his fix, it will leave you broke. Just take healthcare. He's pushing for American-style healthcare, the kind that's left.
Now that these are nice and wet, I'm just going to poke some holes. Tie them off and toss them behind the shed. Oh, that's a snake. Sorry for disturbing you, Mr. Snake.
Where?
Ah,
Oh, you
oh
didn't
my
see it?
goodness, that was,
No.
that was scary.
Black,
Okay, check
ugly.
for snakes.
There.
People recommend shredding these. I don't believe in that. They're going to break down just fine whether you shred them or not. It's just going to take a little bit longer, but we got time. So now we're just going to wait for rain. Now that these are nice and wet,
There
I'm
it
just
is.
going to poke some holes. Tie them off and toss them behind the shed. Oh, that's a snake. Sorry for disturbing you, Mr. Snake.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Gordy's seen one of those.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Check for snakes.
At the in
Now
her.
down south
We're
on
gonna
vacation.
tie it off.
Oh, okay. I thought to her,
Not
to
here.
his backyard.
No.
Oh my
or air
god.
so it can circulate. We'll just toss them behind the shed to age for about 6 to 9 months, maybe a year. We'll check in on them later. Whew. Once they're fully broken down, you get leaf mold, and this stuff is amazing because the leaves are broken down through a fungal process as opposed to a bacteria process, which is what happens in a hot compost pile. You have a lot of bacteria. The fungus prefer a cooler process. It's a slower process, but it creates fungus-rich soil amendment that your woodsy shrubs and trees are going to absolutely love. And the way you can use that is by just using it as a mulch or by mixing it into your potting soil media, maybe with a little bit of your native soil, a little bit of compost. The leaf mold is really going to help you retain that water. It's similar in properties to like peat moss in the way that it holds water. This last soil building method is inspired by a prairie or a meadow. And if you can imagine a prairie, there's a lot of grasses growing there. There are animals grazing on those grasses, such as horses. And as they graze, they poop. And that poop breaks down and releases nutrients back to the soil so those grasses can grow some more, and the cycle continues. So right here I have a big pile of horse manure that I'm going to
Busy
turn
lang
into
si Sikoy
nitrogen-rich
ha. Asikaso lang
soil
ako sa kusina.
in about 3
Kagigising ko lang.
months.
Sure, si
And
Sikoy.
you can
Walang
get that for
problema.
free or for very cheap by either browsing on Craigslist or calling your local horse breeders or horse riding facilities and telling them, hey, I just want to muck some stalls and take some of that sweet, sweet horse manure out of your way. All you do is just put it in a big pile, make sure it stays hydrated, and in about 3 months, it's going to break down into beautiful, humus-rich, nitrogen-rich soil. You can plant a nitrogen-loving crop such as corn, and it'll be really, really happy. These are just some gateway methods into soil regeneration and building up your own soil. And granted, there are way more ways of
Sige
doing
lang,
this.
Sissy
These
Koy.
are just some beginner-friendly methods that you can start today. For me, building good soil is like an investment that keeps paying out for years to come. Once you establish these methods, it's not just about the nutrients, it's also about the microbiology of the soil. A teaspoon of soil has more microbes and microorganisms than there are people on Earth. That's really what we're trying to build here. We're trying to build a symbiotic relationship between plants and soil. So if you'd like to learn more about that, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, grow your soil and stay away from snakes. Bye-bye.
Did you know 80% of women struggle with hair damage? New Pantene Miracle Rescue Deep
At-home soil tests. Are they accurate? Let's find out. In this video, I'm going to show you how I do an at-home soil test using one of these kits. And later, we're going to compare the results and accuracy next to a lab test.
Oh, baby, look at that.
Oh, nice, son.
Now, I need green. Green is life. I don't have green. Crazy green.
Hello and welcome to What is Welding, the channel where we answer your welding questions. Today we're diving into how to weld aluminum with a torch. The quick answer is that welding aluminum with a torch requires particular techniques and considerations because aluminum is a soft metal with a lower melting point than steel. But let's unpack what that means in detail. Welding aluminum with a torch involves using an oxyacetylene torch to melt and join aluminum pieces. It's important to understand this process because aluminum is lightweight and corrosion resistant, making it ideal for many applications. However, its low melting point and high thermal conductivity mean it demands precision and care. The key technical detail is controlling heat. Since aluminum conducts heat so well, you have to move quickly and efficiently to avoid overheating and warping. Use a flux to clean the oxide layer from the surface and choose an appropriate filler rod that matches the aluminum alloy you're working with. Several factors impact torch welding aluminum. The torch flame must be properly adjusted to a neutral flame. Too much oxygen and you risk oxidizing the metal. Too little and you won't achieve a proper bond. Additionally, the thickness of the aluminum affects how you approach the weld. Thicker pieces require more heat, while thinner sections are prone to melting if not handled carefully. Preheating the aluminum can also help distribute heat more evenly. For more detailed information, visit our website at whatiswelding.com. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and follow our channel for more welding tips and tutorials. Thanks for watching, and keep welding.
I know housing costs have gotten really expensive, so I want to share my little housing hack for how I ended up with a beautiful home for just $60 a month. I know it looks sketchy. The original plan was for this to just be a little summer camp for my son and I in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. As you've already seen, it's a pretty rough-looking 50-year-old abandoned single-wide mobile home. It was in really bad shape, and I was able to purchase it for $24,000. And there were so many reasons why people would be concerned about this. One was a lot of informal ownership changes over the years. So what I did was hire an attorney and paid her $1,500 to make sure there were no other liens against the property. There were some concerns about federal tax liens, but it was all clear, and that was money well spent. As you can see in the video, the place was completely filled with junk. Most people thought I should pull this old trailer off and rebuild something new and beautiful, but I actually couldn't even afford to do that, so that really wasn't an option. I also wanted to keep my property taxes really low. This trailer was sitting on blocks, and I knew that I could upgrade it as much as I want and still keep that tax status. But the problems were pretty serious. The roof had been leaking. You can see the ceiling tiles coming down. But I knew that the original structure was actually really good, built with steel beams and 2x4s. This was a 1970s construction. It had copper wiring. One of the other issues was pest infestation. We even had some raccoons in there, which actually can be a health hazard. And squirrels and
What?
mice. I was told that there had been some
Here.
Your neighbor thinks Volkswagens are expensive to maintain, but they're surprisingly affordable. He also thinks the milk is still perfectly fine, so maybe don't listen to him. See the numbers for yourself. Volkswagen.
paint you a picture. It's been a tough couple of years, but things have been looking up lately. Inflation is cooling, interest rates are falling, employment is holding steady. But weirdly, more people in Canada are missing payments on their loans.
We're seeing more consumers getting themselves into financial stress, and that's a little bit concerning for us.
In Ontario alone, 11,000 people missed a mortgage payment last quarter. That's 3 times as many as 2 years ago.
That's a sign that there's so much stress in the system that it's starting to burble up.
So, what's going on? I'm going to start by saying some bad words. Mortgage delinquency rate. Equifax recently tracked how often people were missing mortgage payments for 90 days or more. This delinquency rate almost doubled in Ontario year over year, and it jumped around 40% in both BC and Quebec. But why? Haven't mortgages done nothing but get cheaper over the last 9 months or so, as interest rates keep going down and down and down? Well, you think yes, but in a lot of cases, no. Because, let me ask you this. What year in all of Canadian history do you think saw the largest number of mortgage contracts being signed? The answer is very easy.
2021 is the biggest mortgage origination year in the history of Canada.
2021. And if you were part of that very large cohort of homebuyers in 2021, you know exactly what you bought or renewed when you did. In 4 words, you bought the dip. Interest rates were at an all-time low. You saw opportunity. And while the pandemic locked everything down, you locked in.
While everything else shut down, real estate activity's been off the charts.
We called it Real Estate Christmas because it was the most real estate sold in the history of the country. But here's the other side of the coin. What comes down must go up. The most common mortgage term length in Canada, so how long your contract runs for until you have to renegotiate, is 3 to 5 years. So let's roll the clock forward in time for all those folks who picked up mortgages in 2021. 3 to 5 years from that point lands you somewhere in this range for renewal, 2024 to the end of 2026. And turns out more than 3/4 of all mortgages in Canada as of early 2024 fall within this window, a renewal date that has snuck up faster than people might like. Now, like I said, interest rates have come down since 2023, but they haven't come down to 2021 levels. They're not nearly as low as when this cohort we're talking about signed or re-signed their mortgages a few years ago. And every percentage point can make a big difference. Let's say you bought a house back then for $800,000 in Ottawa, and you put 20% down, you lock in for a 5-year fixed mortgage at 1.5%. Killer rate. Your friend's age. Your monthly payment at the time might have been just under $2,600. We'll call it $2,588, and let's say that was right at the top end of what you can afford. A year later, when interest rates start going up, you're feeling pretty smart because your low rate is good for 5 years, but interest rates keep climbing, and only in the last 9 months or so are they starting to drop. Problem is, you are up for renewal, and the lowest rate you can get is 4.5%, which means you're now paying closer to $3,000. Let's call
Wow.
it $936 a month.
Look at that
or
baby.
do the math.
Wonderful, honey.
About
Are you sure?
$350 more than you used to. So for those people, when they renew, the shock from those payments can be dramatic. And there's something else to consider here, that
Ay,
the
galing.
average balance on mortgage renewals in 2024 surpassed
Okay,
those
gawa
in
tayo na.
2023 and 2022. What does that mean? A bigger balance.
This is the problem. I don't have green.
Buying frenzy cohort took out bigger loans to buy more expensive homes. Homes that they may or may not have been able to afford otherwise.
When the bank rep comes to you and says you're eligible for a $350,000 mortgage, the home buyer said, great, I'll take it. Maybe not realizing that they could have pushed back and just said, I know that I qualify for $350, but I only want $275. Or what would happen if interest rates rise together to a high level? What would happen to my mortgage payment when I have to renew in 3, 4, 5 years? And that conversation was missing.
And there's a domino effect here, because while more people than before are missing their mortgage payments entirely, especially in Ontario. There's another set of people who are still making their payments, but perhaps at the expense of everything else.
The last thing you're going to mess with is your mortgage payment. Canadians are pretty sacrosanct about that. They'll jump through giant hoops to try to make sure they can pay their mortgage. It sometimes means maybe going bad on your car loan or your line of credit or your credit card payments. That's where people can really get themselves into trouble.
Which brings us to the next part of the story, a significant rise in other types of payments.
Kaya pala ano, ang mahal kasi ng pag bumili ka sa online.
Let's look at credit card spending. If we make this comparison between 2024 and 2022, we can see credit card spending hasn't really changed much in 2 years, but the overall balance on those credit cards has gone up pretty significantly in that time, about $600 a month on average. Some of this is on account of taking on new debt. Some other part of this, according to Equifax, is from making only minimum payments or missing payments altogether. In Q4 of 2024, 3.6% of credit card holders missed payments for more than 3 months. That's up from just under 2.4% in the same quarter in 2021.
In terms of kind of the change that we've seen, so not just mortgage delinquency, but also other types of delinquency or missed payments on things like credit cards and loans, it is rising at a fairly quick rate.
This applies to all non-mortgage debt. So car loans, credit cards, lines of credit, student loans, and when you add all of that debt together, it amounted to about $22,000 per person in Q4 of 2024. Add back in the mortgage debt, and Canadians now have a total of $2.56 trillion of debt.
That's up around 4.6% compared to 12 months ago. And really a lot of that growth is coming from non-mortgage debt growth.
There are a couple factors at play here. One being all those people we just talked about, renewing their mortgages at higher rates. Because if your top priority is paying your mortgage, and your mortgage is now a few $100s more a month, you might not have much choice but to skip a few payments on your credit card or car loan.
A lot of these first-time home buyers, a lot of low-income Canadians that maybe got onto the housing market at the wrong time are relying on excessive amounts of debt.
So if they have a mortgage, it's high balance, it's maybe coming up for a renewal. We're seeing their credit cards, their loans, missed payments on those sorts of products starting to increase as well.
But it's worth underlining here, the younger you are, the more likely you are to be in this problem group, whether or not your mortgage is up for renewal. Because for you, in the first place, the cost of housing has gotten so out of control.
There really are two economies in Canada, and the people that are in that upper group that own a home outright, or own a home that they bought before 2014 and prices really started to go crazy, they're in such a different financial position than almost everybody else.
Here are the delinquency rates for Canadians setting
Thank you,
mortgage debt
Divine.
aside. Q4, year over year. You can see for people in their 20s, 30s, and early 40s, we're talking increases of more than 20% on missed payments. The cost of housing is just a big part of that, but so is the price of everything else.
Yes, the rate of inflation has dropped, but prices are up considerably from where they were pre-pandemic, and that's eating into people's
Atay,
budget. It's
magkaiba.
all this stuff that you pay day to day, week to week, month to month, that are just adding up, and they're dribbling over.
And generally, what you hope for in a healthy economy is for wages to keep pace with inflation. But for many young people, they haven't.
If you look at the actual StatCan data, you'll
We don't go today in the gym, baby, because it's raining. Is that okay?
Is that okay? Yeah, okay.
It's raining and it's too windy.
Oh, okay.
I went outside.
Yeah, did you take the garbage out?
Yeah.
I heard you go out. Thank you, dear.
Welcome. I put in the garbage the one that our bed cover.
Yeah, good. Good. Thank you.
Mm. And it's windy and rain.
Here's crops you can plant in March.
What is
March,
that?
right here. Let's see what they are.
Everyone knows the market can change on a dime. So if you're looking for timely, up-to-date information, you come.
It's March, and that means three things, my friends. One, it's spring, baby. Two, it's time to plant. And number three,
I think he's in
is we
Florida.
have 5 epic gardening crew members delivering
Eggplant?
some juicy planting info
Really?
on over a dozen different crops. So
Still, I don't have
and let's get to it.
seedling that I need to grow.
Oh, it's in San Diego, California.
Ah.
Basics set up, and it's not in
Is
this shop here.
it
It's not
snowing
the-
there,
it's not the
baby?
It's not the Alyssum or even this very fancy saffron. I'm talking about one of the most classic, perhaps the king of herbs, basil. To satisfy those of you in the UK,
It's snowing
it
there?
can also be referred to as basil, but I am never going to say that again. So the two varieties to look at least for me, would be Italian Genovese. That's the most basic. It's
Okay.
absolutely tried and true. If you don't want to think, grow Italian Genovese. If you do want to think, maybe grow lettuce, leaf, basil. It's sweeter, a little bit less spice on it, a little bit less pungency. Makes it huge leaves, massive leaves. 10 years ago, I grew one like as big as my head. You can use it as like a lettuce wrap or a sandwich wrap. It's really nice. But besides variety, growing basil is about sowing basil. So let me show you how I do that. If we're going to do the basil, we're going to go with Italian Genovese in our standard Epic 6-cell tray, in our 1020 tray. And what I'm going to do is pop the pack open, and I like to dump out in my hand, and you can see how small these basil seeds are. They're tiny, and they're also very dark, almost black, so they're hard to see once you actually sow them. So make a slight compression. Of course, you could just use your fingers, but we like to get a little fancy here. About a 1/4 inch deep. I go 2 or 3 seeds in. First of all, you can grow basil in bunches if you want, but I just want to guarantee germination. And what basil needs is about 5 to 10 days to sprout, and about temperatures of 65 to 75 Fahrenheit, maybe up to 85 if you can get away with it. I really like starting basil from seed versus buying, because you can stagger out how often you plant it. You can just keep resetting it over the course of the season. So you just want to cover it up, water it in, keep it in a warm area for a couple weeks, and you want to sow this about a month before your last frost.
If for some weird, crazy reason you are only able to plant one singular type of flower in your garden, and you were to ask me what I would choose, I would always choose calendula, hands down. Not only is calendula extremely beautiful, not only is it an amazing pollinator plant, it's also an incredible medicinal herb that everyone should have on hand. It is truly a triple threat. If you've ever grown calendula before, you know that the flowers are really sticky. Like if you grab a calendula flower, your hands are going to be sticking for the rest of the day. But that stickiness is really good because it's called resin. And in that resin lies all of calendula's wonderful medicinal compounds. This is why calendula is so popular in skin balms and salves and creams. And I love to make calendula salve every year. I make it for myself, friends, and family. I make it with dried flowers. These are some from the fall. But if you really want to get the most potent flowers that you possibly can, you want to grow a variety called Resina calendula. This just means that it produces more of that medicinal resin than other varieties. Calendula is really easy to grow. They're a cool weather plant, so now is the perfect time to get them in the ground. They usually thrive here in North Carolina in spring and fall. They don't do too well here in the summer, but usually they'll grow in spring. I'll kind of let them reseed, and then they'll pop right back up in the fall. And to plant these, it's really kind of low key. All I do is I just sprinkle them. I kind of do some chaos gardening, just sprinkle the seeds, mix them in the dirt a little bit. But if you want to be more intentional, you can definitely start these in seed trays and transplant them out.
March in
I
Florida
like
is
it.
a total trip. While the northern part of the country is still buried under inches or even feet of snow in some areas, Down here in Central Florida, we're about to wave goodbye to our average last frost date and say hello to some seriously hot and
Sunflower.
humid weather. Now, the spring
I will
planting
fix
window
that one
is
later.
really important for some of the more mild
I need to
weather-loving
finish
crops
first
down here,
some.
but it is incredibly narrow, so I don't want to waste any time in getting in things like cucumbers. I'm after this variety for a few different reasons.
Ganda
One,
nyo.
I love thin-skinned cucumbers. That's just a personal taste preference.
It's sunflower.
It's a parthenocarpic or self-fruiting variety, which means I won't need insects in order to set fruit. I'm also interested in this variety because it is well suited to trellising up a string trellis, and I plan to trellis my cukes on the structure of the greenhouse, and I want to grow them up the string trellis. One of the reasons that I became obsessed with gardening all those years ago was that I'm really into homegrown pickles. I really love the lacto-fermented pickling process. So this year I've got to get some pickling cukes in. I'm going for the double yield cucumber. I'm going to make sure to put a few successions of this variety in because cucumbers are one of the
Ayusin ko pa yan, di ba? Ah, that's loud.
Well, it's somebody else. That's the neighbors.
Why is the ETF market suggesting stocks could keep climbing?
Is it?
AI boom benefit cybersecurity stocks.
Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to beautiful Nicaragua. Right now we're on our way to our coffee farm here in Nicaragua. Elliot is very excited. Look at him. He's been sitting in the car for almost 2 hours. They've actually been gone for a while from Nicaragua, and I've been making progress on the cabin that we're building here at our farmstead in Nicaragua. Now the farmstead is in the jungle, so today she's gonna get to see that cabin. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Last time we saw it, how far along was the cabin?
I think it looked like somebody was wrapped in tinfoil.
Yeah, it was only wrapped in this like thermic barrier, but had nothing else on there. So I'm excited to show her. But the roads are very rough right now in Nicaragua. It's been raining a lot, so it's incredibly slippery. And we've taken like over an hour longer to get to the farm. Let me show you guys. It's been raining a lot, and the roads are just a mess. It's hard for motorcycles to get by, trucks. And if it gets very, very slippery, then we're gonna have to put chains on the truck. Hopefully we don't have to do that though, because I didn't bring my chains. So let's make it to the farm. Let's see if we can make it without any problems here. Knock on wood. So it did rain for a total of 7 days in a row here in the mountains. So we are of higher elevation, and we're in a region of Nicaragua that it rains a lot more than down south like in San Juan del Sur. So these rains have really taken a toll on the road here. But today's weird weather. It's like rainy and sunny, then it's cloudy, then it's sunny again. But so far we've only had a little bit of a sprinkle. So how's it feel to be back in Nicaragua after being gone for a bit?
I'm actually like just so happy. The weather is perfect right now, and I don't know, I feel really relaxed. So I can't be any more at home than here.
Nice. Perfect. Check this out, guys. Look at this. I tell you, these guys here driving with motorcycles, they got skills, man. They know how to drive around here.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty fun though.
I would roll right off the mountain.
Alright, we made it to a sketchy part right now here in the farm. So this next road is actually the last road to get to the farm that can get pretty sketchy. We're gonna take a look at it since we haven't been here in a few days. We gotta make sure that there isn't anything that's changed and it's gonna hold us back from climbing this road. But take a look at it. What makes it so hard to climb this is the fact that it is clay. So clay is just slippery in general. You just slip and slide like a mud bath. But from what I'm seeing, it looks doable. It looks like we'll be able to make it without chains. Worst case, I'm gonna have to slip and slide and then have to go back down and retry this hill again. It's a pretty long hill, so let's give it a shot. We're gonna give it a crack, see if we can make it up without having to put these chains on. Wish us luck here, let's see what happens.
Wow.
Man, that was slippery, but thankfully we made it up. We're getting close to that point where we need chains, so thank the Lord we made it. Elliot was having a blast there. He was just shaking his head, eating his little donut. Now let's head to the farm and let's go check out this cabin.
I don't think you deserve that piece of food.
I know. She had to climb the hill and film this. She didn't want to film it. Decirle hola, Elliot. Decirle hola. Huh? This is the first time Elliot's meeting these kids here. They're here for the season with their parents. They're helping us, so she's one, the girl, a little baby in the wheelbarrow. She's only 1 year old. Hola, we're gonna eat a little bit of breakfast here because we left at 6:30 in the morning. Took us 2.5 hours to get up here, but I want to show you guys something pretty cool. Blanca, which is a lady that's lived on the farm for more than 10 years, and her and her husband supervise this farm. She just had a baby daughter, I think like a few weeks ago, and take a look at her. She's sleeping right now in this hammock. Look how cute. I think her name is Hannah Victoria, and she is just taking a nap in the hammock. Ay, qué bonita, ¿no?
Cute, a hammock.
We got the fire going for some.
Do you want me to make you a hammock like that, baby?
Yes.
I know how to make like that.
Meal right here. Bean soup with rice and an omelet, an egg omelet with ingredients from the farm. Here you go, here's your favorite. What you've been missing while being in the U.S.
Elliot's favorite too. We're about to enjoy. Don't even take me home anymore.
I'll leave you out here in the mountain with these dogs and these wild kids. For me, all I wanted was a crunchy tortilla that was heated up in the open stove and some bean broth as a little light snack. Oh, delicious. niño, dice, ¿quién es este? Alright, time to head over to the other side of the farm. We're about to drive over. Everyone's done eating, done playing. So let's go check out that cabin she hasn't seen. So we're in the start of coffee season right now. So today marks the last harvest for this cycle. We still have a couple
That's
other
my
harvests, maybe
leaves.
3 to 4 more harvests. But we need to bring coffee down to the coffee mill today. So before we leave, we need to load over like 700 pounds of coffee in the back of the truck and bring it back with us to get it dried in the city. So we need to work on the cabin and we need to load up the coffee. So we have some missions we need to accomplish today. And I'm hoping we can make it in the back in enough time before the coffee processing plant closes, because today is Saturday and it closes at 4 and we are pretty far away. So let's see how everything plays out today. Bueno, niños. Alright, Courtney, last time you were here, it was all aluminum foil, just a bunch of thermic wrap, barrier. And now, it's been a few days, it's been a lot of work. People on the channel have seen this, but you haven't, so turn around.
Wow, look at this. This is so beautiful.
It's getting there, right?
I mean, I feel like we can already move in.
I know, look at that. It's coming to life now that we are using the wood and we are managed to cover everything, you know? So, what do you think?
You've done such a beautiful job.
I wanted like a rustic cabin look, you know? So, we still need to sand it and do everything else. Like put the trimming around the window, waterproof. But I think it's coming along, huh?
I mean, it smells and looks like home, so I'm very proud of you.
And also think about that. This is a walnut tree from the
Look
farm.
how happy Elliot is.
Whoa, you love it, Papi, huh? You like it? You like it? To think that this is the walnut tree from a farm is actually pretty cool. That from this same farm, you
It
know?
makes it more special that we have something from the farm instilled into our house on the farm.
Yeah, amazing.
Good job, I'm so proud of you. Elliot loves it. Look, you're cooking it.
Comment below, what do you think about the cabin so far? If you like it, let's take a look at the front here. Today we need to get a little bit of work done on it.
Hi,
We need to
hi,
continue to
bro.
finish the top here.
Hi, Kabsat.
But so far,
Make a love shout
looking so
out.
good.
Good evening sa'yo dyan, Kabsat.
Take a look at it. Not bad. Not bad for an amateur. First time building a home. Not bad. Here's the front too. Oh, the front we had to cover because there was rain hitting right there and then jumping over here. So once we take that off, we're taking
Ala,
all
di
this
pa ako
off.
may kasalanan ako sa iyo, Kabsat. Di pa ako nakapunta sa channel mo. Pupunta ako, wag kang I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to have these guys help me out more often. They even brought their own tools over here. Look at that. I'm glad she liked it, and I am happy that we're making progress. It's been a lot of hard work, but we keep moving forward, and that's what's important. Let's go check on the coffee, how things are doing, and check on the team that's been working on packaging some coffee for us. And
Thank
see
you,
how much weight we're taking
Kabsat.
back down to the city.
Cough and cold symptoms? Get real relief with Buckley's. It tastes awful and it works.
Terrace are eating everyone's lunch. Hey, Terrace, eat this. Introducing the Pizza Reverse Terrace. Get 25% off regular price pizzas. Import pizza. Export hunger when you use code Reverse Terrace. Only at Pizza.
Traveling your way on points shouldn't be so hard. With RBC Avion Visa, you can fly during peak season or last minute without the points hike. Switch and get up to 55,000 bonus Avion points.
Get the shade you need this summer with Owl's Awning Shop. Owl's Awning is giving away a motorized retractable awning at the home show March 21st to the 23rd. Stop by our booth at the Bayfront Convention Center. Owl's Awning, we've got you covered.
Head and Shoulders Bare. Clinically proven dandruff control with just 9 essential ingredients.
Kabsat, morning. Morning na dito. Aga gising ko. 2:36 a.m. Ah? Oo nga. Aga naman ang gising mo.
Yeah. Some more coffee over here.
Thank you, Kapsat. Pupunta ako, promise, sa ano mo.
And we're packaging.
Nakalimutan ko lang kahapon kasi yung aking
And we got more over here.
Mr.
We have quite a bit of coffee.
Magulo.
We have a lot of coffee we need to bring
Pero
down.
promise ko sa'yo, pupunta ako ngayon. Pagkatapos ko lang dito. Tapusin ko lang tong aking, ayan o, sunflower. Ganda niya.
Awesome. This gets me excited. All the fruits of the labor. Every time it is coffee season here, I feel amazing because it's just a time that reminds me that we're keeping the dream alive. We're keeping everything going. So now that we're done with this harvest for this week, the team here are starting to focus
Aming sunflower.
that we need to clean some weeds. So there's about 4 of them here that have been cleaning weeds all week, and we need to go see how they're doing, see if they need any support, or if they moved far along, if they made enough progress this past week. And hopefully we're going to take a look at the harvest for a small plantation that we planted 2 years ago, and this year is the first year that we're going to have a good size harvest from that little plant. We're actually going to get to try the beans. I don't know if you can see, but the
Parang
workers are over there.
halata yung.
They're swinging away, working hard. Look how beautiful that plantation looks right there. We're about to teleport over there. So when you own a coffee farm or in the coffee business in general, it's important you come out to your plantations every few days to check on the harvest to see how fast it's maturing. So take a look at this plant here. This plant has a lot of cherries that are red, and they're the right kind of red, ready to be picked. So we want to schedule the people for this upcoming Monday, because if we wait for too long, a couple things can happen. 1, the cherry can over mature and it falls to the ground. 2, it can rain for a couple of days and it'll split the cherry open on the plant. 3, the cherry will start to ferment and it will over ferment, and then specifically for that cycle of harvest, it's not going to taste that good. So we want to make sure we schedule the people, but the difficulty of that is that you're working with Mother Nature, because the weather here is so unpredictable that you might schedule people for Monday, but it might start raining now and not stop till Monday, so you're already late on Monday. So it's just some of the difficulties of farming. But I have to say that I'm very happy with the way this varietal is producing all this coffee. It has a lot of coffee beans on there. And this variety is known as a Catimor. And the Catimor,
No worry, Kabsat. Naka-freeze naman yung main ko. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kabsat, ha.
Today, me and Tuck are going to show you how to grow watermelons in
Sige, pag hindi na naka-freeze yung main mo, puntahan ko.
Watermelons may not be the easiest crop to grow, but the taste of a vine-ripened watermelon that's homegrown is far superior to anything you can get in the store. So sweet, so delicious, and they come in a bunch of different colors. If it's your first time growing watermelons and you're growing them in containers, I suggest you plant some small, early ripening varieties. A variety like the
Thank you sa support, Kabsat.
and also the Silver Yamato. These are 2 varieties that I'm growing. I would suggest that you kind of stay away from growing some large, long-season varieties like the Alibaba watermelon. This is a great watermelon, but it's huge and it takes a long time to grow. What I like to do is start my seeds indoors in large cells about 2 to 4 weeks before transplanting. Using that will help speed up germination. They like the soil temperatures to be between 70 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. In optimal conditions, they will only take about 4 to 10 days to sprout. Or you can direct some of your watermelon seeds right into the containers. For my containers, I like to
Première by Kerastase repairs hair bones. Reverses hair damage. Kerastase.
food safe 5-gallon buckets. I drill drainage holes at the bottom with a 1/2-inch drill bit. They need to be able to drain so the soil does not go anaerobic, which means without oxygen. For soil, you can use a high-quality potting
mix, like Happy Frog. This is my favorite bag soil. But what I like to do is make my own soil with coco coir, compost, perlite, and vermiculite. Once your young seedlings have 2 true leaves, they're ready to be transplanted out. Before that, I suggest you mix in some all-purpose fertilizer into your soil because melons are heavy feeders and they will need the added nutrition. Melon seedlings do not do well if they get root down, so try your best to avoid that.
Official number na
Seedlings get chilled,
na
they
ako
may
sa
not set
Jam
root.
CG
So
Kabsat.
be patient. It's always better to
Official
plant a
member.
bit late rather
Ay,
than
thank
too
you
early
Kabsat
when it comes to
ha.
water melons.
Welcome.
Melons, like a soil that remains
Welcome
consistently
sa
moist but not soggy. Using
kapamilya.
it will retain moisture and will keep the soil from
Welcome, welcome. Taga saan ka sa atin, Kabsat? Ako taga La Union ako, Kabsat. Ay, sinabi na mo na pala kahapon. No? Lakas ng TV. Pasensya ka na Kabsat sa ano ha, kasi ang lakas ng TV. Yung aking ano kasi pag nakaakyat yan yung libangan niya.
It was registered and operated under the flag of the Republic of Marshall Islands for its favorable tax environment and greater operational freedom. It was powered by a single diesel engine, giving a service speed of 19.5 knots and could carry over 7,400 vehicles. It was manned by 23 crew members. Golden Ray had 15 decks, 12 of which were enclosed vehicle storage.
Do you want
sheds with
popcorn,
the
baby?
crew accommodation,
Yeah, is there a bag of popcorn?
stairways, and mooring stations.
1 sack of popcorn.
1 cup?
1 sack.
What do I get?
1 sack of popcorn.
1 sack. Is this all mine?
Captain Jihad Lee takes over command of Golden Ray as the new master, along with the 8 new crew members. On the 30th of August, Golden Ray departs Freeport for stops in Brunswick, Georgia, then Jacksonville, Florida, and on to Baltimore, Maryland. Shortly after departing Freeport, the vessel's leaseholder, Hyundai Globus Company Limited, notifies Captain Lee that Hurricane Dorian is heading up the east coast of Florida. To prepare for the storm and stabilize the vessel, Captain Lee instructs the chief officer to load additional ballast. The chief engineer takes on 1,500 tons of
Idaho.
seawater into the vessel's ballast tanks. Golden Ray then waits out the storm
They
off the
want to
coast of
consider-
West Florida from the 1st to the 3rd of September, allowing the hurricane to pass.
The firing squad
On the 3rd of September, the
as
leaseholder directs
execution
Captain Lee to head
for
to Jacksonville
capital
instead
punishment.
of Brunswick to offload and load cargo. To enter the port of Jacksonville, the chief officer discharges
The one that we saw it
1,500
last night
Yeah.
in
ballast to reduce Golden Ray's draft to less than 9.4 meters. The draft of the ship is the height below the waterline. On the 7th of September, Golden Ray departs Jacksonville en route to Brunswick. The vehicle carrier arrives at Port of Brunswick that afternoon, and Jonathan Tennant, or JT, a state pilot from the Brunswick Bar Pilots Association, boards Golden Ray to bring the vessel into port.
taga Ilocos ka?
Golden Ray docks at berth 1 on the
Ako taga La Union, Kabsat.
Shore personnel and the vessel's crew begin offloading and loading vehicles using the stern rack. Golden Ray has 4,161 vehicles on board.
Ako taga La Union ako.
All the vehicles are properly stowed and secured.
Yung tsahin ko na pangasawa ng tsuhin ko, taga Ilocos. Pero dito lang sa bungad.
The vessel has a slight list of 0.42 degrees to
Dito lang siya sa bungad ng ng
He
Ilocos.
doesn't take on additional ballast water. Instead, he uses the existing water in the ballast tanks to
Ganda niya,
transfer
Divine,
tons from the port side tank to the starboard tank, resulting in a 0.03 degree list to starboard. The Port of Brunswick pilot rotation is 24 hours long and arranged so that the same pilot who guides the vessel into port will guide it out after the cargo operation.
Ayusin ko pa yan, Divine.
Crew are familiar
Di
with
pa
the
yan
pilot, and
naayos.
the pilot is familiar with the vessel.
Tapusin ko lang to.
Just after midnight on the 8th
Then, haloan ko siya ng bulaklak na
he
ano.
gets to the bridge where he finds Captain Lee along with the second officer in charge of navigation, the court's master who steers the vessel, and a cadet who's in training. During the master pilot briefing, JT notes the draft of the vessel is 9.4 meters, which is the same as when it entered the previous day. But as this still meets the required minimum under-keel clearance of 0.9 meters in the 11-meter deep channel, he ignores it. JT does a pre-departure check using his tablet, which provides him with the navigation charts and an automatic identification system interface that displays headings, speeds, and rates of turn for Golden Ray and other nearby vessels, as well as tidal flow and water depth information. The weather is good, partly cloudy, with visibility up to 10 miles and light winds of 4 knots. The pilot begins maneuvering Golden Ray away from the quay and into the harbour with the help of a tug, Dorothy Moran. At 0100, Golden Ray proceeds outbound in the Turtle River lower range at 6 knots. Dorothy Moran stays with Golden Ray to provide support as needed. While Golden Ray is transiting outbound, another vehicle carrier, the Emerald Ace, is heading inbound to enter the channel with another Port of Brunswick pilot commanding the vessel. The two pilots communicate via radio and plan for the vessels to meet halfway at the Plantation Creek range of St. Simon's Sound. This is a common practice for the pilots because it's the widest portion of the waterway where vessels are able to pass each other. As Golden Ray passes under Sydney Linear Bridge at 0108, the Dorothy Moran stops to wait for the inbound Emerald Ace to escort and assist the inbound vessel. Golden Ray proceeds outbound in the Brunswick Point Cut range on a course of 113 degrees. Captain Lee orders his crew to open the portside pilot door, which is located on deck 5. Once they're outside the Port of Brunswick at the Seaboy, the pilot will disembark. The pilot doors are hydraulic watertight hatch, 2.1 meters high and 2.1 meters wide on the side of the vessel. It's one of 13 watertight hatches and 17 watertight doors throughout Golden Ray. After supervising the opening of the portside pilot door, the chief officer retires to his stateroom. The crew continue with their duties, leaving the door open as the vessel proceeds outbound. 22 minutes later, Golden Ray approaches Cedar Hammock Range and the pilot orders a 20-degree turn to port to navigate the left turn into Cedar Hammock Range. At 0128, the pilot again orders a 20-degree turn to port to enter the Jekyll Island Range. As Golden Ray approaches the right turn at Widener 11, JT adjusts the heading to 0.44 degrees at a speed of 12.9 knots. A Widener is a turn or bend in a channel that provides additional width to allow vessels to navigate a turn easily. At 0136, JT initiates the turn by ordering starboard 10 or rudder at 10 degrees to the right as they enter Plantation Creek Range, which heads out to the Atlantic Ocean. The helmsman complies with the turn and also increases the vessel's speed to 13.3 knots. JT realizes the turn is too slow and gives an order starboard 20. Golden Ray swings quickly to the right and takes on a list to port. As the ship turns to the right, it starts to tilt over to the left. JT immediately orders the rudder amidship or back to center to slow down or stop the turn to the right. The helmsman reverses the wheel, but the vessel doesn't respond and continues turning to the right. To the surprise of everyone on the bridge, Golden Ray becomes unstable and continues heeling hard over to port. JT calls out, "What's the metacentric height of this thing?" A metacentric height is the vessel's stability to keep it from capsizing when it heels or tilts over. A vessel with a higher stability value will roll quickly back to its center of gravity. A a smaller value will take a longer time for the vessel to correct itself. Since the vessel isn't responding to centering the rudder, Captain Lee intervenes and issues a port 10 order, a move in the opposite direction. Golden Ray still doesn't respond and continues turning to starboard, and instead of correcting itself, it inclines even more to the left. The pilot and master swiftly issue additional rudder commands to the helmsman. Port 20, then 30 seconds later, hard to port, or full turn to the left, in an attempt to counter the heeling and return to an upright position. But the ship doesn't respond, and the list increases to 35 degrees on the ship's heeling indicator as it continues to turn to the right. The open port side pilot door on deck 5 is submerged below the waterline, and water enters deck 5, flowing freely on the low side of the vessel.
Fit your budget. Might not fit your bike. The Home Depot. Low prices guaranteed.
At Fidelity, we know that everyone's got financial goals, and they're all different. But the one thing we share, we all want to get to them sooner.
When it's as bold as me salsa. The pilot issues orders to engage the vessel's bow thruster and the engine to full astern in an attempt to stop the vessel from heeling any further. With such a steep list, everything on the bridge that's not secured is thrown against the port bridge window. Golden Ray's list reaches 45 degrees. The main propulsion system and electrical generator shut down, triggering alarms throughout the ship. At 0140, Golden Ray grinds to a halt, lying on its port side at a 60-degree incline outside
Kapamilya pala.
southeast of Buoy 19.
Oo, kabsat. Si Divine mataga. Ano yan?
Shuts down less than a minute later, leaving the vessel in darkness with no power and only the flashing
Kapamilya
lights
natin
from the alarms.
yan.
The bridge wing of the ship slowly fills with water. Water continues to flow through the open port side pilot door, flooding deck 5.
Ano yan? Napaka-support.
In the engine room compartment, the first and second engineer are in the control room on deck 4. The third engineer and the cadet engineer are in the engine room on a lower deck. As Golden Ray settles on its port side, the two engineers on the lower deck try to make their way to the fourth deck to reach the emergency exit. The first and second engineer in the engine control room head for the emergency exit up the mid-port side stairway.
Kik, sorry. Kuha na ng didikit po ako sa totoong bahay po, hindi po ninyo. Ha? Ayan, malapit na matapos, Divine. But I need to make something. I need to make flowers. Your sunflower, baby. Bukas, ang bubuuin ko yung inano ko. Nag-aantay lang kasi ako ng ano ko, yung proper talaga na ganito. Crepe paper. Bukas meron na ako. Meron na akong gagawin bukas. Ouch. Ouch.
Flowers. You're making me flowers.
Yes, I'm making you flowers, baby. Salamat po sa pang-unawa, Cakes. Thank you po. Can I see? Oh, wow.
So that's Monday. See, this is Saturday, Sunday. There's Monday. So that's morning, supper time, and bedtime.
Oh, that is the sleeping pills.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so I'll leave these aside till Monday. Okay? What's this?
The sleeping.
That's what it should be.
Can you open it, baby? No, there is nothing. I think it's already injection. It's already in the injection. Oh.
Let's sit down and read about it.
Okay, you can read it. Wow ha, nakailang lambing na si Kuya Te. Ay nako, ganyan yan siya, Divine. Maano talaga yan. Okay, Kicks Dental PH. Pag nag-live si Tita Marchi, pag di pa ako, dikit sa'yo. Dikitan kita at bigyan ng 5 bananas. Ayan! Do you want me to put it here, baby?
Sure.
Ito ang proper na lalagyan. Ayan. Maggawa lang ako ng maliliit siya na bulaklak. Ayaw ko nito. Siguro. What is that?
Wind.
Why is my stick? Tia Angie, pag di ako busy maya, dagdagan ko yung binigay ko na banana sa'yo, te. Baka may 20 pa ako di naibigay sa'yo, te. Thank you, Divine. Thank you talaga sa support. Di ko na alam pa paano. Okay.
Yeah, I think I have to wait till Monday when I start my new medication
Okay.
to take this. I think
Okay, baby.
because they're regulating my new medication, so to coincide with this.
Okay.
This is severe weather. It's getting worse in Canada, and we are all paying the price. But this.
When US President Donald Trump announced tariffs against China, Canada, and Mexico, he felt confident that none would respond. How could they? They'd be poking the bear and incurring his wrath. What Trump never expected was a trade war that has significantly escalated in the last 24 hours. So now he's got one, and he's furious. Canada has just retaliated to Trump's tariffs with tariffs of its own, and the United States is shocked. What has Canada done? Why does it matter? And what does all of this mean for both countries in the future? It all started on February 1st. That's when the White House website published a press release stating that Trump intended to implement a 25% tariff against Canada and Mexico, along with a 10% additional tariff on China. Trump wasn't done with Canada either. He also announced a 10% tariff on the country's energy resources. Trump was taking this bold action to hold all three countries accountable for their roles in enabling illegal immigration and the flow of fentanyl into the United States. The announcement hit Canada hard. For over 150 years, the Great White North has had no closer ally than the United States. Literally, the US is Canada's neighbor to the south, with the two only being separated by a border that has traditionally been easy to cross. They're allies in trade, with the US importing $412.7 billion worth of goods from Canada in 2024, while exporting $349.4 billion to create total annual trade of over $760 billion. Plus, they're military allies, both the NATO members, along with having several military pacts between themselves. Trump's moves have threatened that alliance, but the threat didn't appear to last long. Just 2 days after the White House announced the tariffs against Canada, Trump agreed to a 30-day pause. This wasn't a capitulation to external or internal pressure, according to Trump. But instead, Trump agreed to a pause following an emergency phone call from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The Canadian leader agreed to reinforce Canada's border with the US to stamp out the fentanyl trade, which delivered a reprieve to his country. That reprieve was temporary. True to his word, Trump held fire for 30 days. Unfortunately for Canada, he chose not to extend the pause beyond that period. On March 3rd,
Oh, kabsat, iaano ko. Pero ito, request nila kay. Magbabasar sana ako ngayong April, kaso nga lang wala pa akong sapat na naipon eh, na ibabasar ko. Kailangan ano ka ng iba't ibang design para para hindi lang naman iisang design. Wala eh, hindi pa ako nakagawa eh. Kaya medyo nagbibisi-bisihan. Sasali ako sa bazaar dito, kabsat. Siguro next year.
China has responded to Trump by creating tariffs. All three caught Trump off guard. He expected his tariffs would force the nations to do America's bidding. Instead, he's just plunged the country into a trade war. This is the time to hit back hard and to demonstrate that a fight with Canada will have no winners, Trudeau claimed in a biting address on March 4th. Trudeau also had a message for Trump, addressing him as Donald, in a clear sign of disrespect caused by Trump calling Trudeau Canada's governor so many times. Canada's Prime Minister said, "You're a very smart guy, but this is a very dumb thing to do." Trudeau isn't just firing shots in the trade war, he's targeting Trump's ego. In a separate statement, the Canadian government explained what its tariffs would look like. The country intends to impose a 25% tariff on around $30 billion worth of unspecified American goods. That's a warning shot for Trump. If the American president doesn't lift his tariffs within the next 21 days, Canada will extend its 25% tariff to $125 billion worth of goods. That covers around a third of Canada's total imports from the United States, and Trudeau is likely willing to go further if Trump doesn't negotiate soon.
Access to Skyscanner, searching millions of prices on flights, hotels, and rental cars in seconds. Skyscanner goes far down.
China's response was just as shocking to Trump. It's announced a 15% tariff on all imports of wheat, corn, chicken, and cotton from the US, in addition to a 10% tariff on other American agriculture products such as fruit, vegetables, and dairy. Mexico is the more cautious of the three. It's taking a wait-and-see stance, at least until March 8th. However, if Trump moves ahead with his tariffs, we can expect to see Mexico implement tariffs similar to those of China and Canada. So how will this affect things? Let's start by taking a look at the military. Trump's tariffs and the
Ngayon sanang April, sasali ako sa bazaar, kaso nga lang wala. Gipit. Na maiipit ako.
The new tariff war is intended to push American companies to expand the domestic production of these materials.
Kaya na lang.
Rare earths that are needed in modern microelectronics.
Mag-iipon na lang muna ako lang. Gawa ko.
But his tariffs may create a cascade of negative effects. As director of the Center for Defense Concepts
And then,
Institute, Brian Clark tells Defense News, it's going to cause prices to go up. And because these are commodities, if the prices go up because of these tariffs, that kind of affects everybody all at once. Just like oil, if you cut off a supply from one place or make a supply from one place more expensive, everybody else takes advantage and the prices all go up everywhere. In other words, Trump's tariffs will make importing from Canada, Mexico, and China more expensive for everybody. Worse yet, other countries that aren't directly impacted by the tariffs will raise their prices as well, forcing the US to pay far more for the materials it needs to support its military.
So next year, handa na ako. Handa na. Marami naman na sana akong nagawa, kaso nga lang pinamigay ko. Pinamigay ko sa mga may yung kaibigan kong Pilipina dito, binigyan ko ng isa. And then, yung mga kamag-anak nila kay.
No matter where businesses go, they're going to be impacted by this tariff war. On the American military front, that will manifest as higher prices for materials, leading to the US's already massive defense budget no longer stretching as far as it once did. So it's clear that the new tariff war is
Yung mga kamag-anak nila kay Kamsat, yun yung
fighting outright, creating issues within NATO.
binigyan ko. Tuwang-tuwa naman sila. Meron pa ang isa dito eh. Meron pa naman ako nagawa. Kaso nga lang. Gusto kong marami.
For one, Trump has created a more united Canada at a time when he seems to be trying to force a divide in the country. America's president might have hoped there would be voices within Canada who supported his tariffs and his desire to make Canada America's 51st state. Those voices don't exist. Instead, the New York Times claims that Trump's tariffs have created a sense of unity in a country that was previously divided along fierce political lines. Pierre Poilievre, who leads Canada's Conservative Party and is a rival to Trudeau, said President Trump stabbed America's best friend in the back in the wake of the 25% tariff being implemented. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has already ordered the removal of all US-made liquor from Canadian store shelves, along with cancelling a contract with Elon Musk's Starlink.
Oh, how about the one that have Tesla already?
Well, they got to pay 5% tariff on it.
Wow, really?
But it's been made in China.
The Tesla?
Yeah. Originally it was made in California, then he moved everything to China. Now he wants to move it back again. Because him and Trump are best friends.
Yeah.
In addition to the S&P 500 at 1.2% drop, the technology focused Nasdaq fell by 0.35%, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropping by 1.5%. Some of America's best-known retailers are hit hard, with Best Buy seeing 13% wiped off its share price in the space of 2 days. Those financial issues are going to continue, as Best Buy's chief financial officer, Matt Bilunas, points out. The giant wild card is obviously how consumers are going to react to the price increases in light of a lot of
Fingerworks ko rin, pero sangipin. Sangipin naman. Ganon.
Especially now that Canada has responded with its own tariffs. Some believe they have a stronger financial future.
Fingerworks
Polls are inconclusive over whether
ko rin, pero sangipin naman.
and the United Automobile Workers Union has defended Trump's decisions.
Ako, Kamsat, wala kasi akong trabaho. Kaya ito yung trabaho, ito yung gagawin ko na lang.
At DQ, we like to say all things in moderation, except for flavor.
I don't have a kit per se.
I don't.
No. What would you think would be good things?
Kasi nilakay ko, hana nga kaya't kami nga agtrabaho ako.
The president take aggressive action on ending the free trade disaster that has dropped like a bomb on the working class. Will the union be as glad now that Canada has announced its tariffs? That remains to be seen, and it could all come down to whether Trump is successful in attracting more companies to the US with his tariffs. He might have pulled it off if Canada hadn't retaliated. Now, the future is far murkier. Speaking of the future, what does it hold now the tariff wars are underway? It's difficult to say, though Trump has claimed that he's willing to go further. Posting to Truth Social in the wake of Trudeau's tariff announcement, Trump said, "Please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the US, our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount." This appears to be a threat to impose a further 25% tariff on Canada in response, which would raise America's tariffs on the Great White North to 50%. Canada might again respond in kind, which would decimate the already shaken trade relationship it has with the US. Alternatively, Trump may be willing to do what he believes he does best, make a deal. Following Trump's Truth Social post, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick proposed a more clear-headed way forward for the two countries. He suggested that Trump will probably announce a tariff pact with Canada and Mexico that could lead to a compromise. Lutnick also says that Canada and Mexico had been on the phone with him all day, trying to show that they'll do better and the president's listening. Lutnick appears to be acting as though Trump still holds all the cards, with Canada and Mexico being the two nations begging for a resolution. But what if things got desperate enough to cause an actual war between the US and its northern neighbor? Let's look at how recent comments could play into this hypothetical, albeit unlikely, scenario. Trump has continued his mockery of Canada's Prime Minister, once again referring to him as governor, while claiming that Canada should be subsumed into the US and become the 51st state. Rather than shrugging these supposed jokes off as he has in the past, Trudeau came firing back with a direct accusation against Trump. Perhaps he wants to sink the Canadian economy so that he can annex Canada, Trudeau said on March 4th. That's never going to happen. We will never be the 51st state. Trudeau also accused Trump of trying to jettison America's closest friends and allies, in addition to drawing some interesting contrast between Trump's tariffs and his increasing closeness with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trudeau referred to Canada as America's closest partner and ally, while calling Putin a lying, murderous dictator. Trudeau seems to be implying that Trump has fallen under the sway of a man who's supposed to be America's biggest enemy. If that's the case, as Trudeau seems to be claiming, then Canada will be prepared to fight to retain its freedom if Trump is really serious about making Canada the 51st state. On paper, it's a fight that Canada can't hope to win. According to military aggregator Global Firepower, or GFP, the US beats Canada in every single major category of war. America's population is almost 10 times the size of Canada's, giving it a manpower advantage of over 111 million people that GFP classes as fit for service. The manpower picture doesn't get any prettier for Canada when you look at active duty and reserve military personnel. The US has 1.328 million active soldiers and 799,500 reserves. Canada's numbers are tiny in comparison, just 68,000 active soldiers and 27,000 reserves. That discrepancy is seen everywhere. Canada's defense budget amounts to around 5% of what America spends on its military each year. The country's Air Force only has 351 assets compared to 13,043 that the US Air Force commands. Canada's 74 tanks and 21,704 armored vehicles aren't going to be much help in a ground war when the US has
Okay, Kabsat. Back to sleep na ako. Sige, Kabsat. Sleep ka lang.
vehicles that it can bring to the fight.
Kasi it's still early.
There's no better on the naval front. The US has
Ouch.
440 naval assets, including 11
Sleep ka na, Kabsat.
terrifying
Maaga pa.
51 destroyers.
Masyado. Oops. What I need.
In the early morning of November 5th, 2005, the Seabourn Spirit, a 440-foot-long, 10,000-ton cruise ship, took off on its 16-day voyage from the port of Alexandria in Egypt and was bound for Mombasa, Kenya, with 115 passengers on board. In the early morning of November 5th, 2005, the Seabourn Spirit, a 440-foot-long, 10,000-ton cruise ship took off on its 16-day voyage from the port of Alexandria in Egypt and was bound for Mombasa, Kenya, with 115 passengers on board. When the ship reached the coast of Somalia, two speedboats started approaching.
Good night ulit, Kabsat.
While heavily armed bandits attempted to get on board. What ensued was a standoff between luxury and piracy, a clash of worlds at sea. How the crew of the ship managed to prevent the pilots from boarding the ship. This incident begs the question, how does a cruise ship, the very embodiment of elegance, defend itself from maritime marauders? You might think being on a cruise ship during a pirate attack was a nightmare waiting to happen. Surprisingly, passengers have been on board during these incidents, yet their safety isn't compromised as much as you think. This is in part because pirates aren't necessarily after the people on these ships. Their sights are set on something else entirely: money, goods, and valuables, which explains why their primary targets are usually cargo or container ships. This also explains why these attacks usually occur in specific regions and popular trade routes, where pilots see opportunities for financial gain. So, while passengers might find themselves in the midst of these incidents, the pirates aren't typically interested in causing harm to individuals. They're focused on their own agenda, seeking valuables rather than initiating altercations with people on board. But this is not to mean that passengers are completely safe during pirate attacks. It's a strange reality. Being on a ship during a pirate encounter isn't as dangerous as one might imagine. Yet understanding where these threats occur is key to appreciating the precautions taken by these cruise ships. While attacks can happen in various areas, some regions are notorious hotspots for these maritime bandits. The regions most likely to come under threat from pirate attacks include Indonesia, Malaysia, and Nigeria. In 2022, the most attempted piracy attacks occurred off the Straits of
Sige lang,
Singapore.
Divine.
Moreover, Southeast Asia is the location of 41% of the world's pirate attacks between 1995 and 2013.
However, one area stands out for its history of relentless piracy: Somalia and its surrounding waters. The Somali piracy saga began in the early 2000s, fueled by a mix of political instability, poverty, and lawlessness. It was initially a threat to international fishing vessels during the early 2000s, only to rapidly escalate to expand to international shipping during the war in Somalia between 2006 and 2009. At their peak in 2011, Somali pirates carried out 212 attacks in the vast area spanning Somali waters, the Indian Ocean, the Red Sea, and the Gulf of Aden. These actions cost the world economy an estimated $18 billion in a year. The pirates hijacked ships as far away as 1,000 nautical miles from the Somali coast and held the ships and crews for ransom. The World Bank estimates that Somali pirates received more than $400 million in ransom payments between 2005 and 2012. But now, concerted international efforts, including naval patrols and increased security measures, have significantly reduced Somali piracy in recent years. The UN Security Council has adopted a resolution to combat the continuing threat of piracy off the coast of Somalia. However, the threat hasn't completely vanished. And this begs the big question: why do these pirates continue to target ships, risking their lives and the lives of others? Piracy isn't just a swashbuckling adventure. It's often driven by economic factors. Initially, pirates primarily targeted cargo ships due to the valuable goods they carry. The plan was to hold the entire ship for ransom and ask for a portion of the ship's cargo value as ransom. But here's the twist: luxury cruise ships have become an enticing target too. Ever wondered why? To pirates, these ships are floating treasure troves, setting their sights on ransoms worth millions from each passenger. The logic is simple yet ruthless. Target the opulent and demand exorbitant sums for their safe release. This shift in pirate targets has had profound impacts. It has altered the dynamics of pirate activity, changing not only their methods but also impacting the vital waterways they operate in, like the Suez Canal and other strategic passages. The threat posed by pirates has forced changes in maritime security, reshaping global trade routes and impacting the lives of those who rely on these vital waterways for commerce. When faced with the threat of pirate attacks, cruise ships have a robust arsenal of defense mechanisms in place to keep intruders at bay. First up, anti-climbable walls.
What if you had the opportunity?
An ingenious physical barrier lining the ship's sides. These barriers are designed to repel pirates trying to climb aboard, boasting slippery surfaces or sharp edges that make scaling the ship a daunting task. Surveillance also takes center stage, employing state-of-the-art monitoring systems. Sonar, radar, and cameras work in tandem to spot approaching pirate vessels from a distance.
You ready?
Yep.
process when it comes to doing taxes. It was very reassuring to know that a benefit like the CWB was there for me.
Find out if you qualify at canada.ca/every dollar counts.
With Cascade Platinum Plus, I have upped my dish game.
See, in that dishwasher.
Watching.
Platinum Plus gives you our highest standard of clean, even in your machine.
Clean enough for you?
Yeah. Scrape, load, done. No pre-wash, no rewash, or your money back.
Farmers in the North Carolina mountains are in some big trouble, and they have a very limited amount of time to solve the issue. It is now March, the first week of March, and they can't plant because when Hurricane Helene hit, it took away a lot of the topsoil, which destroyed fields. It destroyed the ability to grow vegetable crops. Just about anything, you've got to have soil in order to grow food. And in a lot of places, these guys are down to just bedrock. It could take years to redevelop the soil to the point where you can actually grow something on it. There are things that we can do to speed that up. And this is probably one of the biggest operations that Meet My Neighbor Productions has been involved with Helene relief efforts since it began. But what we are doing here today is going to allow a large number of farmers that have been in contact with us to be able to plant this year, to be able to produce crops, to be able to function somewhat normally. I don't think it's going to be back to normal. Like I said, it takes years to actually regrow, redevelop soil. So what we've done here is we've teamed up with Brooks Contractors, which is a neighbor of ours down here in the Goldston, Bear Creek area of North Carolina. And we're about to truck, over the course of a week, we're doing about 3 dump truck loads of compost from this facility each day, over 200 miles in many cases, into the mountains to these farms that need to have some sort of way of rebuilding their topsoil. Tractor, which is an organization up in the mountains, is helping with some of the hauling. Meet My Neighbor Productions is covering the cost of the compost. Brooks Contractors has worked a great deal out with us so that we can make this affordable for everybody. They also helped coordinate the truckers. They did a lot of work with us to help make sure that we could get this done. What Tractor is doing is really helpful. They're getting some of the really big loads up to the mountains. But as you watch this channel and you stay tuned, you're going to see how we're going to help out some of the smaller guys that kind of fall through the cracks where they can't get one of these big trucks onto their properties. But that will have to be probably a later video, and hopefully we can get some interviews with some farmers once the compost is on the ground and they're able to start putting it to work. So you're going to see some productivity here. What we're doing is we're doing what we can for our community to help our community get back up and running again. And that community reaches all the way across the United States as far as I'm concerned when it comes to farmers and ranchers. But right now, this is where the need is.
It's about money. Every advisor in every old financial institution has one. Like this, Jim. A wise person should have money in their head, but not in their heart. What difference does it make if it doesn't end up in your pocket? So, how do you get yours? The answer is zero. Questrade thinks you deserve more zeros. So they change the game again with zero commission trades. And go get yours.
There's a prefab home at the home show that has never been seen before and has a very cool look. The only problem is it's been packed every single day. Today, I'm beating the crowds. But first, I should probably have a shower. This is my third time at the International Builder Show, and usually I can arrive at 8 a.m. and have an hour to shoot video before people arrive at 9 a.m. 2025 is the year of the door crasher, and tell you what, day one I learned a tough lesson. I get it, it's a big show with a lot of cool homes, and if you want to see it all, you have to start early, but still, part of me wishes people would settle down. Welcome to the International Builder Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. Behind me is what I like to call a showstopper. This is the A-frame modular from Zoo Cabins, and this one's getting a lot of attention. So what we've got here is 1,890 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and you might have noticed it's got the cottage look down to $1 million. So this is the first time I've ever featured anything from Zoo Cabins on the channel, and what better way to start than the A-frame modular. Let's have a look at this thing. So you might have noticed that this doesn't have a look much like anything that I've shown on the channel, and you might be thinking to yourself, how is this even possible? How is this a modular? And that's a good question. You can kind of see on the TV how it's delivered, but basically what it is they've got 2 pieces that go on the bottom. So this roof, the A-frame, folds down. That's a hinge roof. So if you split it in half there and just picture 2 pieces on the bottom, then they've got one that goes across the back on top. So it's 3 pieces total that get delivered. They brought it over from Pennsylvania and put it together on site. I know they've got that video floating around of the setup, so maybe I'll try and get my hands on that and I can put it in so you can really understand how this arrives and how it's put together. So, like I said, the cottage look with the metal roof and wood siding, and it's kind of cool because it's not a full A-frame all the way down. They've kind of broken it up with this piece at the back, and then it goes back to the A-frame at the back of the home. And I just think they did a really nice job with this cabin here. Right now, they're delivering across the country except for California and Oregon, but I have heard that because of the feedback and demand that they're getting from this show and this model right here, they are considering an expansion into those 2 states, specifically California, which I think would make a lot of
What's going on that is stressing us? Last night I could barely sleep because I had read report after report after report, and the math was devastating. At the end of this budget year, United States debt by Congressional Budget Office is projected to be $37.2 trillion. Then if you were to come in here and then take the president's requests, so let's just, because we have a couple members here, just say, just do everything, make everyone happy, screw my retirement, the next generation. America will be fine. You add it all up, by 2035, you have over 74 trillion in debt. You're somewhere in the 155 or so % of the entire economy is borrowed. Today, we're a little less than 100. You have like the Social Security Trust Fund, which is gone in 8 years. We borrow the money out of that, and we do pay interest on it. These numbers right now say that number that took, what, 240 years of publicly held debt, we intend to double in 9 years. In 9 years, we're going to functionally add another 28 trillion of publicly held debt. When you see some of us stressing out, when you see some of us, he's being disharmonious. Maybe it's because I own a damn calculator. This is no longer the next generation. This is your own retirement. When my little boy is functionally 24 years old, the math says every single tax in America needs to be doubled just to maintain baseline services. You think this is a game? There's a path. We can produce some level of stabilization. It means doing really hard things, which you know how good we are at doing hard things, because once again, there'll be an army of people outside the door all upset with us because we're trying to do hard things. You've known this has been coming for decades. It would be more likely to allow the tax rates to go up on working people. But it's also immoral not to find a way to pay for it. Are you ready to condemn this country in 9 budget years, 10 calendar years, to functioning a financial Armageddon? Because this is actually in the 10-year window now. This is not some theoretical number years and years and years and decades from now. It's here. That means in 2035, the interest handle for America is $2 trillion a year. Just interest will be $2 trillion a year in 9 budget years if we don't find ways to do offsets. How can this not terrify people? Are there people in the White House that have calculators? We're not the only country binging on debt, almost 100%. The next 10 years of debt, almost all of it is Medicare. Our brothers and sisters, people like me, baby boomers, gray hair, we're moving into our earned benefits. We didn't set aside enough money, and we've been unwilling to modernize how we deliver services because it annoys the lobbyists and the people at home. Half of it is now interest. Interest now is the second biggest expense in the United States government. You know, I always love it when I'm having a conversation with one of my friends on the left. Well, if we just cut the fence is now number 4 on the spend stack. We're playing a very dangerous game here. And yet, my sense of frustration is off the charts. And look, this one's, it's very simple. We will functionally have raised U.S. debt by 50% in 9 budget years. So let's actually walk through some of the ideas that have been coming into our office. And when I do this, trying to help people understand how big 12 zeros is.
Oh,
Because if I watch
Taylor, baby. Our Taylor. Ruth,
all we have to do is this. Look how wonderful that is.
Yeah.
Not the math.
he want to win Trump, right?
Wall Street Journal yesterday said, hey, there's 40,000
That is
federal employees.
his wish that Trump it will win.
Yeah, right. Is he happy now?
Now, let's see what he was thinking about what's happening now. Because he said before he want to win Trump.
Yeah.
Take a retirement package and understand, and this is the conservative number, we're borrowing about $6 billion a day. That 40,000 federal employees leaving is a single day of borrowing. For an entire year, all those folks leaving, single day of borrowing. You got 24 hours of borrowing by 40,000 federal employees leaving. Yeah,
I just want to finish this one, baby, okay?
Well,
Yeah.
look, we're going to make a huge dent in the U.S. deficit with these 40,000 taking early retirement. It's 1 day of borrowing. Take this in. This is one of the grand solutions. Now, the point I want to make is, you probably have to do it. You got to do all of them. It's going to be dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of things all stacked up just to provide some stability. But you got to stop lying to each other. Our staffs have to stop lying to us. The press has to stop making crap up. And we got to help the public understand the scale of what the hell's going on. 40,000 employees taking early retirement, the salary savings of 1 day of borrowing. Okay, so someone yesterday said, okay, let's get rid of the federal subsidy on tax-exempt bonds for stadiums. Okay, great. We calculate that's about 6 or 7 seconds of borrowing for a year. We're not going to subsidize tax-exempt interest for billionaire sports team owners. Great. Okay, fine. But it's 7 seconds. So let's do a couple of the really popular ones. Department of Education salaries. So if you get rid of the Department of Education salaries, and I think this is all of them, is about 2.75 billion. You just covered 9 hours of borrowing. 9 hours of borrowing. Am I starting to make a point on the scale of what we have to actually tell the truth and deal with? Let's get rid of healthcare for those who are here illegally. Okay, got you another 9 hours. So let's actually go to something a little bigger. Let's get rid of the foreign aid. Okay, foreign aid's gone. You got yourself a week. How many times, those of us on the right, I've been in a debate with another Republican, if we just didn't have foreign aid, we'd be fine. Okay? Now, you've got to deal with the reality, what that does to our military, our footprint in the world, protecting the reserve currency. Why are we the reserve currency? Because we have a footprint, we protect the trade routes, but look, you should know that from your history. But you just wiped it out, you just covered a week of borrowing. UK actually, their 10-year bond actually moved cheaper, less expensive, lower interest rate than the United States. So I think we're back to being the 14th best bet. There's 13 other countries with better credit ratings. Their 10-year bond sells cheaper than the United States. Greece today can sell a 10-year bond almost a full point cheaper than the United States. Doesn't that set off an alarm in anyone's head? How do we go home and tell our folks the scale, that the simple solutions are absolutely wrong? They're not truthful. It turns out we have a brutally complex problem. It's going to require a complex solution, and it's going to require doing hard things. But we have people, but I will only vote for if I get this. And those are the very people who I promise you aren't watching this presentation. This isn't a game. These numbers keep getting uglier and uglier.
Who said that is a game?
Demographics. But telling the truth about demographics isn't great politics. Our job is to blame the other side and then blame us, and then we'll go back and forth and we'll have these incredibly petty, childish, mathematically void debates. The difference is, I believe those of us on the right, those of us who are Republicans, have the absolute moral obligation. We're supposed to be the math people, to fix it. Let the other side lie about it. We campaigned, we won. The American people gave us the House, they gave us the Senate, they gave us the presidency. We did all this moralizing, and now we run away from the difficulty. United States, according to the Census Bureau from last month, will have more deaths than births in 8 years. Why is this a big deal? When you start to understand total fertility rates and what it means to being able to grow an economy, I'm begging you, give this a chance. If you're watching this, you're obviously unusual, you're smart. If you have a shortage of young people, how do you grow? How do you reach productivity? We can do it by policy. You're not going to have more children, but are you willing to make it easier to adopt technology? Are you going to be fearful of AI, machine learning? Are you going to allow synthetic biology to cure diseases? Are you going to promote automation everywhere you can because you can have a shortage of workers? Are we going to remove the regulatory barriers, the financing barriers, to basically having a much more productive society? Because if you don't, there's absolutely no way you can make the math work. This is the reality. The other stupidity we engage in this country is we educate people in our fine universities, and we send them home to compete with us. We educated the very people that are competing with us because we sent them home because we're idiots. And yet I will get folks who will now, right now, pounding out text saying, but I don't want foreigners in there. Do you want us to be able to pay your Medicare bills? I think the United States is the only major country still doing a familial-based immigration system. You can't hit the number without a talent-based, step-based immigration system. You just can't. Because here's your problem. We built the model. So we're going to extend expensing for research and development, so we're doing things better, faster, cheaper. What happens when the very companies that are doing that, the research labs that are doing it, continue to show up in my office saying, we can't get enough people? We're being squeezed. We're going to have to do part of the research on the other side of the world. Have we lost our mind? But there's also part of that same report says you're getting close. I think it was $900 billion, almost $1 trillion over 10 years of new tax receipts if you move to a STEM-based, talent-based immigration system. And the next decade, it's parabolic. It just explodes.
Oops.
Oh dear. That was me. Oh.
Almost done, baby.
Are we gonna use the hot tub tonight?
Yeah.
Can you turn it off and on?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Whiskey.
Oh, we need whiskey. I gotta get another big bottle. Already gave you that for Christmas.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's Christmas.
Because that way you're integrated in the economy. Are we allowed to have that conversation, Mr. Speaker, saying, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to...
Israel, thank you. Shout out.
Do the very tools that allow us to grow, that allow us to prosper, to allow us to raise the productivity. Unless we have this productivity
Good
spike,
morning, friend. Good morning. Good morning also, Israel.
that productivity,
Ouch.
the ability to have that productivity growth is
How are
we
you?
keep up standards of living. Are we basically going to give our competitive advantage to the rest of the world because we're going to educate the very talent that's bringing it to us and send them home?
How are you, my friend?
Prosperity is more.
Sorry about the
I actually
TV.
believe it is actually
The TV is the problem?
No, it's fine.
my kids, your kids deserve
They can't
to
hear
be more
you?
prosperous than the generation before them.
I'm fine. No, they can hear me. I'm fine. I think. Gosh. What are you doing, my dear friend? Oh, I'm making flowers. Look at this. Oh, God, God, God. I'm making flowers.
On a new project, they claim to have developed the perfect electric motor. It can be run continuously at extremely high powers and doesn't
Thank
use any
you.
rare earth metals in the form of permanent
You like it?
magnets. It's an interesting design that combines technologies from many different existing motors and power electronic systems to do something pretty unique.
That's not finished yet.
Let's see how it's
I
done
have
and how it
making
transforms
flowers
the
more
automotive industry.
to put it
I'm
here,
Ryan Innes, and this
like
is
this.
Self Deep Dive.
Mm.
Electric motors are fundamental to sustainable transport. So this
Yes,
development
my
from
friend,
Morrow
I
is definitely
eat
worth
already
our
for
attention.
supper.
I respect your time, so here's a system overview first. And if you think it's interesting, you can continue watching to truly understand
How
it
about
works and how
you?
it performs. The Mahler Perfect Motor, which they have even put in quotation marks in their press releases, refers to a combination of motor technologies that Mahler have previously developed. It is a synchronous motor that uses wireless power transmission to
I get
power
finished
electromagnets
some.
turning the spinning rotor in the middle. This allows it to operate like a permanent magnet motor, except you can control the magnet's
Thank
strength
you, my
and
friend.
have any slip rings that can wear out. It also uses advanced oil cooling to keep the motor cool during high power operation. This is a really clever piece of engineering, so let's get into the technical details. It might be useful for you to briefly recap on the fact that electric motors work by generating a rotating magnetic field. Then when the magnets that are in the rotating
What is
motor
time? What is the time in your
electromagnets
place?
to follow this rotating magnetic field. The first important question to quickly cover is why do you care about magnet-free motors? Permanent magnet-free motors come
Where
with
you
a range of
from?
benefits, starting with the low costs since they don't rely on expensive rare earth materials. It also helps improve supply chain stability by reducing dependency on limited global sources.
Where you from, my
Better for the
friend?
environment as they avoid the potentially harmful mining and processing of rare earth elements. Another big plus is their reliability in high temperatures since they don't suffer from demagnetization.
Oh, Indian time, 8:30 a.m. Oh, here in Canada is 10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock. Thank you, my friend. So good morning. Good. I shoot. I shoot. Good morning. Good morning. In Canada. I am here in Canada, my friend. Nice to meet you too, my friend. Thank you so much. I will go later in your... I need to write it down. It's Rebel OS. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Yes, I am married. Yes,
Forever.
I am married, my friend. He's in my back. He's behind me. My husband. He's the one who make me pretty every day. Okay, which children? Huh? Which children friend? Oh, we have 6 kids. All boys. Anak na. Yeah, we have six kids. All boys. They're grown up. Oh my God, super. Yeah, we have 6 kids. They are grown up. We're not lazy, my friend. Okay, God gift. True. It's God's gift. Kids, it's a God's gift. So we need to accept it. How about you? Are you married? God bless you. Thank you, my friend. That's good. Two kids. Ah, you're lazy, my friend. You're lazy because daughter and son. For me, for us, it's all boys. It's hard to find that. Thank you. You know what I mean, my friend. You need to make more babies. For me, for us, it's all boys. We don't have girl. Is that your channel, my friend? That is your YouTube channel? Yeah, because you're talking to me also. Is that your YouTube channel, my friend? No, we've done supper. It's already night. It's already night here, my friend. We're going to sleep later. Oh my goodness, sticky. Okay, bye. Bye bye, friend. Oh my god, it's too sticky. Two, six. Bye. You're a very nice friend. Thank you so much, my friend. Take care.
with a mop in one hand. You gotta pick up the weights.
And tapos na. I'm done.
Aw, can I keep it on my table? On my table over here? Aw, turn on the light.
I want to put something here. I will put this wait, baby.
You do put water in it?
For you, baby.
Dear. Beautiful. Beautiful. I got sunflowers, and I'm not sure what you call these. They're beautiful. And we got sand in here. So don't knock it over, right?
Yes. Okay, I will say bye-bye.
I wonder if you could put some hot wax in here
Yeah, we can.
so it doesn't spill.
So it's done. Look at that. Divine, ayan na. Yeah, hot box.
Yeah, and it'll make a seal. In case it tipped over, right?
Yeah. Bye, Divine. Thank you.